Good morning, students. Welcome to the Physics E-class. So, students, in the previous lecture, we talked about physical quantities, types of physical quantities. So, we quickly revise our previous topic. So, as by the definition, we know that any of the quantity which can be measured by indirect or direct method, that those quantities are under the category of the physical quantities. So, mass, length, we are having so many different types of the quantities which are under the physical quantities. Now, according to the classification of the quantities, we classify any of the physical quantity in the two categories, fundamental and the derived. Fundamental quantities are those quantities which are independent from any other quantity, and derived quantities are those quantities which depends on the fundamental quantities. After that, we discussed about the units. So units is the standard measurement. Nah? So a standard measurement done by us to calculate, to represent the different kinds of the physical quantity. That means if any of the quantity represented by meter per second, so we already know that meter per second represents the quantity, velocity or the speed. If we are expressing any of the value in kg, that means that kg defines the mass of that particular object or the quantity. After that, we talked about there are two types of the units. That is, one is the fundamental units and other one is the derived units. So similarly, whatever number of the fundamental physical quantity we are having, the similar number of those fundamental physical quantity having their fundamental units. Then that means those units which are independent from any other unit. Similarly, all the rest of the seven fundamental quantities and their SI units rest of the quantities are under the category of the derived units or the derived quantities. Then after that, today we are going to discuss about the topic system of units. So whenever we are talking about the system of unit, so what we understand by the system of unit? System of unit means it is a collection. It is a collection or the set. It is the collection or the set of some of the units. It is the collection of the units that are used for the measurement. So simply, if we want to describe or define what is system of units. So system of units is a set of units that are used for the measurement. So in the system of units, we are having particular sets of the different types of the units. That particular system of unit is globally accepted and globally used for the measurement. That's why we also define international system of units. System of units may be defined as the international system of unit because we are using this particular system of unit internationally or globally. So now we'll move to the definition of the system of units. The international system of units based on the seven base units. Base units means fundamental units. At present, internationally accepted unit system and is widely used throughout the world. As we earlier said that system of units is a set of units that are used for the measurement internationally or globally. Now we talk about how we classify the system of units. So earlier we are only having the three system of units. One is the CGS system, one is the FPS system, and After that, we are having the MKS system. Now we are having the set of we are having the set of mass, length and time in each of the system. That means if we are talking about the CGS system, then that in that particular CGS system we are having the set of the measurement of the length, measurement of the time and measurement of the mass. Now we talk about what is CGS system. So in CGS system, all the quantities, that means mass, length and time, are calculated in centimeter, gram and seconds. That means we will measure length in the centimeter, mass in the gram and time in the second. That means if we are having the set of those particular units, so that particular set is under the CGS system. That particular set is under the CGS system. That means if we are having mass in meter, weight, mass in kg, length in centimeter and time in seconds. And if we want to convert all the units, if we want to convert the particular set of the units into the CGS system, so what we have to do? We have to change the unit of the mass. That means we have to convert the mass of the body from kg to the grams. Only in that particular condition, that particular set of unit is under the CGS system. Similarly, next set we are having FPS system. That means length is measured in that particular system of units. Length is measured in the foot, mass is measured in the pound and time is measured in the second. Now, so that particular system of unit, that particular set of units is under the FPS system. And the last we are having MKS system, that is the mostly used worldwide and most common used system of unit by us. In MKS system, length is measured in the meter, mass is measured in the kg and time is measured in the second. If we are having the set of all these three units, so that particular set is under the MKS system. So earlier we are only having these three system of units. After some time we are having next system of unit, which is the modified system of unit, and that is defined as the SI units. So SI unit is defined as the globally accepted system for the measurement. That particular system of unit is globally accepted system for the measurement. And that time presently SI units are most commonly used system of unit by us in our day-to-day life. So, if we talked about the SI system of units, so SI system of units we classified into the two categories: fundamental physical quantities and their units, and after that we are having sub derived units, derived physical quantities and their unit. Now we are having one more additional type, that is the supplementary units, supplementary quantities and their unit. But after some time that particular classification is merged under the derived units. So standardly in under the SI units, we classify units into the two categories: fundamental units and the derived units. Whatever amount of the supplementary units we are having, that is merged under the derived unit. That is not the specific type of the classification of the SI unit. Now, as we earlier studied about the fundamental physical quantities and their units. So we already know that we are having 7 fundamental physical quantities and their 7 units. That is same for the here also, 7 fundamental physical quantities and their units. So no, we are not having any specific fundamental physical quantities and their units here or for this topic only. So as we earlier having the 7 fundamental physical quantities and their units, that is same for this particular SI units also. So standardly everywhere we are only having 7 fundamental quantities and their 7 units. And uh, rest of the rest of the quantities, that means except 7 fundamental quantities and their units, all the quantities and their units are under the category of the derived units. So we are having many more quantities under the category of the derived units. Now for the class 11 we talked about only the supplementary units. So supplementary units, so whenever we are talking about under the derived units, what are the supplementary units? So in that particular supplementary units, physical quantities and their units, we are having the two quantities, that is one for the plane angle and another one is the solid angle. Plane angle is measured in radian and solid angle is measured in the steradian. Now we talk about what is the difference between plane angle and solid angle. So if we simply define what is the difference between them. So plane angle is used for the two-dimensional measurements and solid angle is used for the three-dimensional measurement. That means all for the solid bodies we have to calculate solid angle, not plane angle. And whenever we are having the planar bodies, so for the planar bodies we will calculate plane angle, not solid angle. So that is the simplest difference between the plane angle and the solid angle. Now we talk about the radian and the steradian, that are the units of the solid angle and the plane angle and the solid angle. Now radian. So as we earlier know that radian is used, or the plane angle is used for the two-dimensional measurement or the planar bodies. So plane angle is measured in the radian, which is equal to the ratio of the length of an arc to the radius. So if we are having any of the circle and we will describe a small angle at the center of the circle, that is defined as the here. Note down at the one point, whenever we are calculating the small amount of the any of the quantity, so all the time for the class 11 we define those particular quantities by the d value. What is d value? We'll talk about the d values after in the next chapter. So till then you just always remember, if we are taking theta, if we are taking d theta in place of the theta, that means d theta represent the smaller value of the angle. If we are taking a smaller arc, then we will not represent the smaller value of the arc by s. We will represent the smaller value of the arc by ds. Right? So always remember that point. What is d value? D is always used for the smaller value of the quantities that we are using. So d theta. So if a certain angle d theta is described at the center of the circle, so what will happen? So it will shift out, it will describe the small arc, and if this r is the radius, if this r is the radius, so this value also be the radius of the circle. So by the definition, by the formula of the angle, as we know that angle is always equals to the arc upon radius. So now we will place the values, all the values in the standard formula of the angle. So here we are having the value of the angle as the d theta equals to, now arc upon radius. So what is the value of the arc? So we are having the smaller value of the arc, so we will place over here ds, and after that we are having the radius. What is the value of the radius? So radius will be same for all the smaller values or the larger values for the circle. So that will be equals to the r. So by this formula we can calculate the value of the radian. So d theta will be equals to the ds upon r. So if we want to calculate the plane angle of the any of the condition or any of the planar body, so what will be apply the formula? D theta will be equals to the ds upon r in the radian. Now, after that we will talk about the steradian. So steradian is used for the measurement of the solid angle. That means in place of the circle, if we take the solid sphere. So to calculate the smaller value of the angle, we will take the solid sphere. Then solid angle. So how will we define the steradian? Solid angle is equal to the solid angle or the steradian, we can say that, is defined as a ratio which is equal to the intercepted area dA of spherical surface, to the square of its radius. That means if we take one whole solid sphere, and if we split out one smaller part of from that particular whole solid sphere, so from the center of the solid sphere, so a small angle we are taking here DO. This symbol is represented as the solid angle is represented by the ohm symbol, and if we are taking GO, that represents the smaller value of the solid angle. Now when any of the if we are taking the angle from this point to this point, so a small part of the area is swept by the particle or the any of the object. So that smaller area is defined as by the dA. By dA. dA is the smaller area swept, and this is treated as O from this distance is treated as the radius of the solid sphere. So if we are defining the formula of the solid angle or the steradian, that is defined as DO, that is solid angle, smaller solid angle will be equals to the dA, smaller area swept by the particle, or we can say any of the thing, upon square of the radius, that is r square, and we will measure that particular amount in the steradian, and steradian is symbolized by SR. So that is the value of the steradian. So now we will summarize today's topic. So we talked about the system of units. So system of units is a set of the units. So system of units is standardly measured in the categorized in the three systems: CGS, FPS and MKS. After that we are having one more modified system of unit, that is SI system of units, and which is now internationally accepted or internationally used by everywhere. Then after that we talk about SI units, split it into the two categories: base units, or we can say fundamental units, and after that derived units. So fundamental units, we are having 7 fundamental quantities and their units, and the rest of the all quantities are under the category of the derived quantities. And under the derived quantities we are having the supplementary units. So rest of the quantities are the derived units, so that is simply speed, velocity, whatever quantities we are having, those units are under the derived units. But if we talk about supplementary, so supplementary is the two type: solid angle and the plane angle. Solid angle is used for the 3 dimension and plane angle is used for the 2 dimension. Solid angle is measured in the steradian, plane angle is measured in the radian. So that's all for today. Thank you.